Death Knights can finally blast Torghast, and man is it fun! ORIBOS, the main player hub in Shadowlands, is here for you to explore with the first look at PvP vendors and PvP gear. Get the scoop on the corruption vendor updates, gushing wound nerf, paladin animal powers, and more in On Cooldown, the weekly WoW news show that blasts and delivers.
Enough, man, seriously.
But
this ain't the World Cup or the Super Bowl or anything, man.
Okay, man.
Finally, the poster boys and girls for Shadowlands, the dead men themselves, are in Torghast. God damn it, I have been waiting for this my entire life. Or 3 months. There are some really interesting powers and builds you can make with Death Knights, albeit some of them are buggy as of this initial iteration. First, the issue of mobility. DK is a proud member of the wheelchair class, and this can be quite the issue in Torghast, or more of a nuisance considering how long certain floors are. No worries, cause now Path of Frost also grants you 30% movement speed while active with Sleek Ice. I mean, there are a lot of powers that makes the class uber cool, but really, being able to move at a 30% increased movement speed is very strange and a warm feeling I got as a DK. Very welcome indeed. Of course, I had the opportunity to try out the Ardenwold Covenant ability while inside, and being able to turn into the most majestic fox was indeed helpful with incredible animations that can only give me hope they will make it into class spells as well. And this with a graphics set to pretty low. That aside, I played Frost in my first run and there weren't too many Frost specific animal powers, mostly because I was unlucky. The ones I got were class-wide, and some even oriented towards Unholy. One build I could see forming is indeed the Necromancer Skelly Armies build. You can get Bone Harvest, making Death Coil leave a short duration dot on the target, and if they die during it, you can raise a Skulker or Magus of the Dead. The animal power is a bit funky, and I was only able to proc it once, but the pet doesn't seem to have a timer. But it will still go away after a while? Maybe they can update the tooltip. That's not too bad, but can see it being repetitive trying to build out your army every floor and only have it, go away by the end. Can still keep things interesting though. Maybe they can change how this functions. Also, there are a few Death Coil specific powers. One that will just increase its size and damage by 40%, and Monstrous Concoction, which might be only for Unholy really, that gives you and your minions 15% haste for 1 minute, stacking twice. Some of these powers seem like they could actually make the class more interesting if they were added as talents, in a more nerfed state of course. One other DK specific cool ability is called Horseman, which transforms your Death Gate into a 10-minute summon Darian Morgraine ability. I expect this to work on Nazgrim, Highmane and Trollbane as well. So far, the Horseman thing is nice, it gives me the feel of the Death Lord once again, but doesn't seem to do very much. But I have to say that hands down, the most overpowered shit I have seen in this game is the Icebound Fortitude combo. Get Ancient Drake Breath, making Icebound spawn a frost worm that breeds and freezes enemies around you in place, and you have yourself a Narthas moment to enjoy. Oh, and Boundless Fortitude, that makes Mind Freezing a spell successfully proc Icebound Fortitude. Yeah, that kind of shit. Dude, I mean like, what? Not to mention, there are powers that reduce the Mind Freeze cooldown, which you can clearly stack and probably eventually have no cooldown on it and have perma Icebound Fortitude freeze shit whenever you kick a spell. Wow. This kind of crazy stuff is what's waiting for people in Torghast, and although it's still a bit awkward, they have also nerfed 2 of the Torment timers last week, and we can only hope they will either make them a non-issue, which some of them actually seem to be, or remove them entirely since the mechanic itself is weird, man.
New alpha build means new toys for you to play with. Today we're looking at ORIBOS, the main hub all players will meet up to start or continue their adventures in the Shadowlands. Based on the lore tidbits we got over the months, ORIBOS predates the Titans, and no one really knows who built all of this. The architecture is heavy on the Ouroboros symbolism, as you would expect given the name, but you cannot help to feel that it feels super cold and empty. Probably because it's in an alpha state without all the NPCs and players and quests showing up everywhere. Now, ORIBOS is placed at the center of Shadowlands, and in its circular shape, you get to explore 6 holes or chambers within it. Once you get in ORIBOS, you will access the Ring of Fates, where you get a good glimpse at the soul stream in the middle. This is made up of all the mortal souls entering the Shadowlands and going to the Arbiter for judgment and to be sent to the appropriate afterlife. But, as we all know, all souls go directly to the Maw, and we have to find out why and stop it. There are also teleporters here to send you up on the main floor and access the rest of the zones. The Idylla is where a lot of players will cramp up, since this is the place where you find the inn. Then you have the Hall of Holding, a place with a big ass bank in the center. Yes, this is where you'll access your guild bank, your own bank, and so on. Hall of Shapes is the place you want to go for all your profession needs. And since we're getting tons of exciting updates on this side of the game, you can be sure a lot of us will hang around here. Hall of Curiosities has some peculiar vendors, particularly the Curiosity vendor, which currently has no merchandise in stock, but apart from him, this is the place where you will transmog, get pets, and so on. Lastly, you get to access the Enclave, where, by the looks of it, there will be portals to Revendreth, Ardenweald, and Bastion, but more importantly, it's where the PvP vendors will be at. I love the titles of these guys too. Facilitator of Conflict, Master of Conflict. Haha, yeah, we want some conflict in arenas, baby. So far, you can make out that one vendor will sell you honor type gear, which will be at 175 Atom level, the entry level one, while the other will provide the Conquest one, with the currency you get from rated PvP, and it will be set at 195 Atom level. The third will probably have the elite gear once you achieve 2100 in arenas or rated BGs, and all the gear available has only stats. Not that this is a problem, but you can be sure that at least the trinkets will have some interesting effects. But so far, nothing to report on that front. Aside from all the zones mentioned, there is also the upper floor, a place that isn't currently accessible to players, but we do know that here we will find the Arbiter. There is some speculation that it may be the place for some boss encounter, but hey, so far so good. The place looks good, although a bit too large and empty, but this is most probably because it's not finished and not all NPCs and players are in. There is this gloomy field all around the place with lots of Ouroboros symbolism and DNA or serpent intertwined motifs laid out, and the PvP vendors, man, yes, cannot wait for you to check this one out once it's available.
And in today's comment of the day, we have Mels, and she said,
"You guys are a bunch of monkeys. I love it.
Let's do some keys!
Or arenas.
Or raids!
Or arenas.
With talents, gear,
Corruptions, rotations,
and more!
Marcelian&Online.
Prices for essences have gone up, but so have the Echoes of Ny'alotha gains. By 5 times to be exact, on both sides. So you earn 5 times more echoes, but essences cost 5 times more. This was done to prevent people who have been stacking echoes into instantly buying all of the top corruptions. If this is good or bad, we don't know, and it doesn't really matter because it's the same mentality the devs had with the Titan Residuum for each patch. It's fine. The Echoes of Ny'alotha drop rate has been increased 5 times across the board, and the sources remain the same. So it's just a different number we are looking at. It gives us a reason to play, which is good considering Shadowlands is months away, and levels the playing field so you don't have to contest with your first Twilight rank 3 against a person having 5 Twilights rank 3 that were just purchased last minute. A little bit improbable, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. That aside, the corruption effects that are purchasable are on rotation, meaning you cannot get everything day one. And there's a few things you should know about corrupting items. Due to some design issues, you couldn't corrupt an item that you have cleansed prior to the reset until today. But if you looted an item yesterday, for instance, and cleanse it, you can re-corrupt it with an effect bought from Mother. To make this a bit more streamlined, the devs are also working on a hotfix that makes your items glow in your bags when you want to select the corruption recipient, similar to how they glow when you go to scrap them, with only the eligible items becoming highlighted. And this is not all. Crafted gear that is native to Season 4 can be corrupted as well. As you craft gear, it has no chance of becoming corrupted baseline, so you would always craft a simple high level item with a socket. That still means a lot of corruption to be carried baseline, and I'm not sure the cloak can support that much. Anyway, maybe later down the road we could be able to corrupt all Azurites? We'll see. What do you think? Should we? Shouldn't we?
And another week has passed. We got all of the great and new news in the last minute because it always happens like this.
After we finish our script.
Yeah, we prepared everything for this show and we have to scrap it all up because we got a bunch of interesting things. But one thing that needs to be addressed here, Flame.
Oh, it's the Gushing Wounds nerf. And I know you nerds wanted to just stack it infinitely because it's the best damage per corruption, right? Yeah. Well, it's going to be nerfed by 35%, at least its damage, which is kind of good because if you really think about it, Gushing Wounds was this strong because it was actually pretty rare, like not a lot of people had it.
Yeah.
It's still good because it doesn't have the RNG of infinite stars into the position, it actually has a higher proc chance. But with the nerf of, damage proc corruptions, I'm actually hoping that stat corruptions, expedients, masterful, stuff like that will be better, because that just means that player skill will matter more, and I'm actually kind of excited for that.
Yeah, no more Twilight Devastations and Twisted Appendixes procking all around. Some actual skill involved. How about that, huh? What a concept. What a goddamn concept.
It's gonna be nice.
And also on the news and on the latest alpha build, well, not technically in the build, but data mined, is the Paladin Animal Powers. There's a bunch of them. You can see them right now on the screen. And there are a couple of interesting ones. For instance, Forbearance. You know what Forbearance is, right? When you pop Divine Shield or bop on yourself, then you cannot bop yourself anymore.
Just says no more. Or...
Yeah, no more, no nada. But Forbearance will give you 25% damage increase.
What? that's pretty cool.
Yes. There's also abilities like the names are not there yet because they're categorized by epic, common, rare, and so on and so forth. But one of them would be that World of Glory will automatically place Blessing of Spellboarding on someone. You also get some that whenever you entry a new floor, you get 30 seconds of Avenging Wrath just out the back. Let's go. There's also one that will lower the cooldown of your steed by 25 seconds, which, hey!
You're excited, I can tell.
Come on, yeah, give me some mobility. That's a good premise for, going forward.
I know.
There's a lot of these things that are not finished. They are not all of them named yet, so it's pretty early to talk about them and test. Well, test is out of the question because Paladins are not here yet, but because we're having these abilities now, I'm pretty sure maybe on next week we get to test out the Paladin.
Maybe we can get Paladins and more than just Paladins, but it would be nice because we just got DK.
Yeah, we just got DK and we also got a lot of Patreons, man. We gotta thank you. The segue though. Thank you.
It was pretty good, pretty slick.
Thank you for all of your support, guys. It means the world to us. Like, because of you, we are able to do the 2 class guides per week in 8.3. We do this show here on Cooldown Weekly Wild News Show and the Shadowlands previews, which we have currently in the works for Frost Decades coming up next Monday. So you better watch out for that. Plus the streams. Forgot about the streams.
Yeah, we kind of stream like 5 days a week, man. It's pretty cool. 5 days, that's like 5 fingers on a hand. We have different timetables and schedules, so you can try to fit as many of you guys in. You can catch us there on twitch.tv/MarcelianOnline. We play raids and dungeons, BFA and Shadowlands, and hopefully one day just Shadowlands.
Yeah, who knows? So once again, twitch.tv/MarcelianOnline, not twitch.tv/Marcelian. It's not how you say things, okay? Patreon, you're supporting all of that. And hey, if you ever wonder how you can do that, there's all the links and the information in the description. You can also buy some, like this. Pretty good. And with that, we thank you very much for watching.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.
You are